I'm divorcing my ex-husband. It's been messy, and I've been living with my brother as he helped me leave him. My brother used to be friends with my ex, so the divorce has been rough for him too. And I think he's been focusing on his anger so he doesn't have to accept that my ex hurt him too. My son was sick, and he kept asking for his dad, so I asked my ex to come and see him. My brother was out when he came over, but my sister-in-law was home, and she kept telling me he wouldn't like it when he found out. I think she called him because he came home early, and he knew before he even saw my ex. He told my ex to get out of his house and stay away from me and forget he had a son. My ex refused, but I made him go as their arguing was upsetting my son. Once he left and my son calmed down, my brother turned his anger on me. He thinks I'm insane for asking my ex to come and see our son, as he thinks I need to stay away from him until our divorce is finalized. He told me he didn't want him in his house again and wouldn't budge when I reminded him that he's still my son's father. I was frustrated, so I told him he needed to get over it because I did what was best for my son at the moment. Am I the idiot? Edit. Son had a stomach bug, so he was sick, but not so sick he needed to be in the hospital. Because of his age, video calling's pretty useless as he loses interest pretty quickly, and he doesn't see it the same as having his dad there in person. Ex wasn't exactly nice towards the end of our marriage. He wasn't very nice. Please explain what that entailed to the extent your brother doesn't even want to see this man's face. I'm sorry, but you are the idiot. Your brother's angry because you let this man into his house. Additionally, you knew your ex wouldn't be welcome in the house because your sister-in-law outright told you this, and you ignored her. Bringing the guy into their home against their wishes like this is an idiot move. It's their safe space, and you don't get to violate that without good cause. Yeah, it seems like if she needed help leaving her husband, OP's ex might have been a habitual cheater or an emotionally manipulative idiot. If this was my sister, I wouldn't want to see someone like that around my sister, nephew, or wife, and in my home alone. Coincidence that the ex had to come over when the brother wasn't home. Yeah, I bet that's why the bro reacted the way he did. OP, you're behaving like a victim does. I think you should listen to your brother. Sister-in-law also pointed out that it wasn't a good idea, and you put her in danger too. This isn't a we just don't love each other kind of divorce. Your ex must have done something really serious to get that kind of reaction from a former friend. The fact that the brother told him to leave and he refused makes me think there's a serious issue. Someone being told, forget you have a son, is a massive problem. Sister-in-law was also so scared she called her husband. Agree. OP also tried to hide that the ex was coming over. Her account isn't trustworthy. Knowing that makes me doubt her interpretation of events. She's trying to minimize her ex's actions and even lies to themselves. What we know for sure, based on our own admission, is that she's dismissing the ex's intrusion. My money's on ex being extremely outgoing and charismatic in public, but then turning into a monster at home when he turns off his public persona. So the brother spent years content in the knowledge that his sister was married to a good guy. Then when he found out what his sister and nephew were dealing with at home, felt both protective and betrayed. If this really is the case, OP is endangering her kid, sister-in-law, and brother by letting this guy around, not just herself. You're most at risk when you leave your partner. I sympathize with how difficult leaving him probably still is, but that sympathy hits a big brick wall when you drag the safety of other people into it. I hope she gets help so she realizes how serious this situation is. If the kid asks for her dad, she needs to learn to say no. I don't think a video call would be as safe because it's a way for him to weasel his way back in. Get therapy and apologize to your brother. He's protecting you. My fiance's family invited us to go with them on a little vacation. They told us not to worry about money because they covered the Airbnb, so all we would have to pay for was gas. It's a 19-hour car drive, and we arrived last Wednesday. My in-laws are so overbearing. Like if I go and take a shower, they knock on the door within 3 minutes to check on me. If I go to the bathroom to have a minute to myself, they'll yell up to me within 5 minutes to see if I'm good. If I say I need a walk to clear my head, they follow me and make sure it's a family thing. If I want to go sightseeing, they immediately get ready to go too and coerce us to go to the sites that they think I'll enjoy versus what I would actually like. They sit there and talk to me and won't let me go to bed until after midnight. And then they knock on the door at 6 a.m. to get my fiance and me downstairs for coffee. And they don't stop talking from sunup to sundown. I'm an introvert. I need space to refill my social bar. And since I've been here, I haven't had a moment to myself. I mean, not even being able to take a shower without being harassed is making me angry. I've talked to my fiance about it several times and have told him more than once, I need me time. I need to stop being followed. I need to decompress. His way of combating this was to be up my butt 24/7 and continually ask if I was okay or chew me out about how annoyed he was becoming. Not helping at all, and I've told him that. But after being followed when I was on the phone and having his mother try talking over my conversation, it was the final straw. I packed my stuff and went to a hotel by myself. The $250 of my money to get home was now spent because I just needed to get away before I lost it. My fiance knew I was beyond tapped out, and I warned him this would happen, but apparently he didn't believe me. So now he's shocked that I would do this, make everything awkward for him, and spend my portion of the trip money. Am I the idiot for spending all my money that was supposed to be used to get us back home? Edit. I mentioned to my in-laws a few times that I needed space to decompress. They didn't listen. Not the idiot. The in-laws seem unbearable. The fiance seems insensitive. And you seem to be fooling yourself if you think this situation will get better when you were pushed to spend $250 to just escape from his family. If your fiance tried to understand you and fix this situation, I'd say something different. Do yourself a favor and end this relationship. If you get married to him, this will be your whole life. Can you imagine if they have a baby? Seriously, can you imagine how exhausted she'd be if she and her partner had a kid and lived close enough to the in-laws that they'd always be over? This sounds like an absolute nightmare. You need to have a serious conversation with your fiance, hun. The fact that he participated in harassing you until you snapped after you warned him you were at your limit is entirely unacceptable. As an introvert myself, I could feel my stress level rising, and I just wanted to cry reading this. And I'd be having a real long and serious talk with that fiance of yours, because he should have been 100% in your corner and told, yes, told, not asked his family to back the heck up and let you breathe. Short and simple. You specifically asked them for space, and they kept pestering you. You did what you did with your money. It's yours. Feel free. My parents broke up when I was 4, and before the birth of my younger sister. Their divorce was pretty quick once my sister was born. My dad met Sarah when I was 7, and they got married after a year of dating. I got along okay with Sarah, but she was never special to me the way my parents were. I'm now nearly an adult, and Sarah wanted to talk to me recently about how I chose my mom over her. She told me I never turned down time or did something with my mom when she asked me to do something, yet I would turn her down for something with my mom. Examples were both wanting to do something after a sports game I had when I was a young teen. Sarah asked after my mom did. I told her I had plans with my mom. Another time, Sarah was going someplace with her nieces and asked if I wanted to join them. I told her I'd let her know, made plans with my mom, and then told her I couldn't go. She found out I chose to spend the time with my mom. I went to my boyfriend's prom with him last year and asked my mom to go dress shopping with my friends and me, and Sarah was upset about this. She told me all this not too long ago, and it bothered her. She said she wants me to feel like I'll choose her over my mom sometimes in some things. Then she told me my sister said that she didn't pick her over mom either because she saw that I never did and thought she should copy me. She told me I might have been older than my sister when she and our dad met, but we had been kids, and we could have and should have been just as much her kids as our parents' kids. And it upset her not to be treated the same, appreciated the same, and valued the same. I told her I hadn't set out to hurt her feelings, and I was sorry that I had, but I would never regret the time I spent with my mom any more than I regret the time spent with my dad. And it only bothers her if I choose to spend time with my mom over her. She asked me to choose her sometimes, though, and not my mom. Then I told her I would never choose her over my mom, and I needed her to accept that. She's mad at me. Dad was confused when he heard and told me not to worry about it, but he then argued with my mom over it. Not a huge surprise. And Sarah told me I was cruel and a bully. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You were cruel and a bully? You? Oh my, this is so brutal and selfish of her. You have every right to choose your mom over your stepmom, and she should always enforce that bond between the two of you. That's what a good stepmom does. Even if she does feel some type of way when you don't join an activity, and of course she can be upset about it, she should never expect you to favor her over your mom. Glad your dad had your back on this one. And no, you are not a bully. Her saying that, it makes her a bully. Don't take any of this personally, and enjoy spending your time with your mom. Yeah, her feelings for you do not come before your own feelings. Do you know how step-parents get an actual parent role? They don't demand it, they build it. Does she put her own children before you, the way she wants you to do with your mom? I would guess not. It really seems like she's trying to one-up your mom in some competition in her head. You were respectful and honest. She's being pushy, petty, and insecure. She should have realized by now that you can't dictate how you feel and act. Yeah, this is insane. What a step monster. I would never choose my stepmother over my mom, and my stepmom would never dream of demanding that of me. And she's been in my life for over 15 years now. Side note, Dad only pretended to have OP's back, but then caved and went and got mad at his bio mom over his wife's insane insecurity. Go to live with your mother full time. Go low contact with Sarah and learn to gray rock. My wife likes to pretend she's a cowgirl. Her dad grew up doing rodeo, but he lived in the city by the time he got married, and he had her and her sister. He still participated in rodeo for fun, and his parents had a farm where he kept his horses. So he would go there with her family and work the horses. She loves horses, but messed up her knees pretty badly when she was young, so she didn't spend much time in the saddle. We were watching a movie about rodeo, and she mentioned how she used to love watching her dad compete. I saw her dad's collection of belt buckles from when he was young. By the time I met him, he was a school principal. I've never seen him on a horse in real life. She mentioned that he did all these events that we saw in the movie. Okay, that's kind of weird. I grew up around people who compete. They usually stick to 1 or 2 events. I don't know any bull riders who also do team roping, for example. I'm sure they exist. I just personally don't know them. I'm not going to argue with her about her father. If she wants to say he competed in every event, it's not worth arguing over. Unfortunately, I'm stupid. I said, "You mean he did everything except barrel racing, right?" "Nope, he was awesome at that too." I told her that men don't do barrel racing at a rodeo. It's a ladies' event. She started getting upset with me for doubting that her father was the best male barrel racer she had ever seen. I probably should have shut up. I doubled down and showed her a few websites for a professional rodeo. She got really upset with me for taking the information on the internet as accurate when she knew what she saw. I just finally agreed with her. She ended up calling her dad to ask him about it. She put him on speakerphone. He said he competed in 3 events, but barrel racing wasn't one of them since it was for ladies. She said that she remembered him doing it. He said he and his friends might have played around at it for fun, but it wasn't an event for men. She kept insisting that she'd seen him compete. He eventually told her to go look online. She said that I had already shown her. Then he said if she was too dumb to know how to understand the internet had the information, he should get a refund in her education. He may not be a cowboy, but he still talks like one. Now I'm in trouble for her conversation with her dad. She said that if I had just accepted what she said, her dad wouldn't have belittled her. I didn't make her call her dad and ask a dumb question, but apparently, I'm the idiot for not believing her. Not the idiot, but wow, get your wife some cool water because, woo, her dad can do a good burn. How could you possibly be an idiot for her choosing to call her dad and insist on something that never happened? When you showed her the info online, she should have accepted that she was wrong and moved on. Instead, she made a call on speakerphone and argued with her father about what he did. None of this would have happened if she just had accepted that she was wrong. She made herself look stupid. This situation was blown way out of proportion, obviously, but the wife's inability to admit that she was wrong, even when presented with facts, is exhausting. Clearly, she remembered wrong. It would have been just as easy to say, "Oh geez, Dad, I must remember us playing around the barrel racing and laughing it off." But instead, she doubled and tripled down until her dad was done with the convo. Some people can just never be wrong. I'm a 43-year-old male. I have 2 biological kids, a nearly adult male and young teen female, and 2 stepkids, 26 female and a teen male. I share custody of my bio kids with my ex-wife. My stepdaughter has her own place, and my stepson lives with my wife and me. Their bio dad hasn't been involved for almost 15 years now. When I married my wife, her daughter had just turned 16, and my wife didn't have a job at the time, so I offered to buy her, my stepdaughter, her first car. Originally, my wife was going to, but she had just lost her job, and we were just starting to share finances. I told her I'd give her $5,000 to buy the car, and if she got a cheaper one, the rest could go towards the gas for the first few weeks or months. I did the same thing for my son for the same birthday, but he wanted a more expensive car, so he hasn't bought one yet. He's still saving up. My stepson had a birthday last week, and I gave him the same money for a car, $5,000. He chose a cheaper car, and we'll also fix it up a bit together, so he already has a car. My ex called me yesterday, and she was furious, saying that if I have $5,000 for my stepson's car, I also have a couple extra thousand for our son's car. I told her, yes, I do, but this isn't about the money. It's about the kids having a car and also learning financial responsibility. She was angry. My son texted me this morning, saying he's disappointed that I won't give him a bit more money for his new car. I told him in the years since I gave him the $5,000, he could have either purchased a cheap car, and I offered to help him fix it up, or get a part-time job and earn some more money. He called me an unfair idiot. So, am I? You gave all children $5,000 toward a car. The other kids chose a cheaper car. Nothing wrong with that. Your son chose to save for a more expensive car. Nothing wrong with that. What is wrong is the expectation that your son should get more money for no other reason than he wants more money. What? I would genuinely sit your son down and ask him why he feels he's entitled to better treatment than his siblings. Not the idiot. If mom is so offended, she can pony up. 9 years have passed since my stepdaughter got $5,000 and prices have risen. This is a situation where the same money isn't fair. To be fair, every kid should get the same purchasing power. Purchasing power goes down. Good for the stepson that he's happy, found a bargain and made it work. Good for OP to try to treat all kids, step or bio, the same. But he needs to acknowledge that each age tier is getting a different gift. The bio son was given his $5,000 before the stepson, so he had the same, if not better, buying power. His bio son chose to wait because he wanted to get a nicer car. Now he's asking for more money, in essence saying, I'm more important, so give me more. If it was fair for the stepson, it most certainly was fair for the bio son. Not the idiot, and your ex sounds like a horrible influence.